Hi there, ice cream friends. Evan with Ice Cream Equipment Specialist, and today we are here with Bravo North America to discuss batch freezers with you. And you might already know that Italian companies make amazing high-quality batch freezers. There's a lot of different great leaders in the industry, but a lot of folks think that, oh, if a machine is from Italy, it can't make ice cream or a higher overrun product. And that's just not the case. And we're gonna talk about that today with the G200 High Overrun Batch Freezer. The magic of overrun, which is simply the fat globule of a dairy protein and then air expanding in it. That's the secret of ice cream, where the profit is. And many people are laser focused on overrun and wanting to get a high overrun product. So that's the point of the G200 on the market. This model can make about 20 liters or 20 quarts or about 5.3 gallons of product extracted. So the cylinder itself is actually about 26 quarts or liters. Then with the displacement of the auger, you can actually extract every batch around 15 to 16 minutes or 18 minutes depending on recipe, 20 quarts or 5 gallons of product, meaning you're putting 2.5 gallons or 1 bag of mix if you're buying pre-made mix. It's a really simple machine at a really great price point with Italian quality control and engineering, but made to have a high overrun product. Overrun is a dance between the recipe and the mix and the machine and the auger design and freezing speed. And at the end of the day, the best way to measure overrun is by taking your mix and weighing it in the liquid form before you put it in, and then weighing it on the way out. Because overrun can be a little confusing. You start with a liquid amount of something and then you're ending up judging it in volume. So a lot of ice cream makers who are experienced just kind of say, hey, I put this much in and I get this much out. They're not really weighing it, they're just looking at the volume. So we're gonna do a test of that today and show you when we put in 2.5 gallons of mix into the top here. So we're gonna put that in and show you the volume that the ice cream makes, and we're also gonna show you some of the advantages of a G200. Number one is that when you're making ice cream, a lot of batch freezers use hardness or time as a way to do the settings of the machine. And why that's not as precise as temperature, which is what's used here on the G200, is that hardness can change based on the recipe. Your hardness for a chocolate ice cream is gonna have way more solids than a vanilla, and so just measuring that resistance that beater motor is accepting electrically doesn't actually give you the best consistency of product. And neither does time, because different times are gonna have different freezing point depressions and different products are gonna freeze differently. So temperature is the really great way of making ice cream or gelato day in and day out, specifically where you want it to be. And so this machine actually has a temperature probe in it, and you can set the temperature to different temperatures, and then the compressor will kick off and allowing the auger just to continually moving so you don't over freeze the product. I really like that a lot more than setting it by viscosity for a consistent product. Simplicity of design, really simple. It has a door magnet switch, which is really important. Some manufacturers have machines where there's actually not a magnet that if the door was open, you could engage it, and that could be dangerous for employees. And then just very simple, there's an auto, which just means turn the auger and freeze, and then there's one that just is turning the auger, which could either be extraction or for rinsing or cleaning. Another really great part about the Bravo Advantage I like on the G200 is this door. Sometimes we begin to think, oh, if a machine is like plastic, it might not be as strong. That's not the case. Not all plastic is equal. This plastic here isn't going to be like a metal door in a batch freezer where you might see it sweating and having condensation. What's happening is that door, that metal door, is actually conducting the cold, and that cold is escaping, right? And we don't want the cold escaping, we want it staying in the product. So that's a really great part about the machine. What I also love is it's just really simple to assemble and light. I can take this door off, and with one finger I can hold this door. You can't do that with other brands of machines because they're heavier. And you might think, oh, heavy is long lasting. No, this plastic is very strong and formed. The extraction door and the amount of parts. All you have is this one metal lever, this one white handle, the extraction door, and an O-ring, and that is it. So it's super simple to assemble and take off, only those parts, and that's it. And then we can kind of show you the auger, or the beater or the dasher, depending on how you want to call it. So what I like about this is that this auger is really meant to get a high overrun, and one of the reasons it is it has these whisk lines right here. So these whisk metal lines are going to help whip and incorporate air into the mixture. I also want you to see does this cylinder look a little smaller than maybe other batch freezers? And that's for a reason. There's a reason that continuous freezers, the big industrial machines that make ice cream, are so good at freezing and quickly freezing, and they have a similar style of this. And that's because you're actually having the ice cream touching the wall. And what I mean by that is that when you have a long and skinny cylinder, more ice cream is actually being cut from the evaporator of the cylinder, which means you have a smaller ice crystal, which means you have a better product. Whereas in a machine that has a fatter cylinder or barrel, more ice cream gets caught in the middle and isn't actually touching the sides as it's going around and circulating. So really key advantage to the Bravo machines is that, and then just the simplicity of adding and then taking off the blades, very simple. We'll go ahead and we'll push this back here, and then all I need to do is just turn it, slide in, super easy, and then with my door, I can hold it, slide it right into place, and we shut the door. We've talked about some of the advantages of the machine, and now we are gonna start looking at making ice cream with this and showing you the Overrun. So here we are with some 16% premium ice cream mix from our friends at Meadowvale, and we're just gonna throw this into a bucket. You could, of course, like fill it right from the bag, and at Ice Cream Equipment Specialist, we actually have a nice mix basket that you can use to make this easy. But for now, I'm just gonna throw it in the bucket, mostly so you can just see the 2.5 gallons. And of course, 16% is gonna be formulated to take on more Overrun than a 14% mix usually. And of course, it's the emulsifiers and the stabilizers that are in the base that allow you to take on more Overrun. So again, it's a dance between the mix and the machine. If you want less Overrun, that can just as much be controlled by the way that you make your base. One of the things about having a combination machine, which is not like this G200, is that you actually, if the hot process machine can actually make your own base to the exact specifications you want. But for a lot of traditional American ice cream makers or people who make Nieves or La Michoacana-style ice cream, they're using this pre-made base. So we wanted to show you this since this is an industry standard of base and getting some of the Overrun. So you see we're right at 10 liters. We're just gonna throw in some vanilla paste here from a provider, mostly so we can just have it not be just completely plain base, because we're gonna eat this also, of course, because we're ice cream people here. And then we'll just get this in, and then we're gonna dump it in the machine, and then we're gonna hit start, and then we are gonna show you when we extract it, all the Overrun that can come out of the high Overrun G200 Batch Freezer by Bravo and Ice Cream Equipment Specialists. Now we've got our mix, our 16% mix. I'm opening the lid here. This is our hopper where we can load from. And then just to show you again, right there around 10 liters or a 2.5 gallon bag. I really like being able to fill from the hopper in the top and the back, because it allows me to fill it a lot faster than having like a tiny hole in the front. So I think that's an advantage. And then just gonna go ahead and close the door. And then we're gonna go to the front of the machine, hit start, and start making some high Overrun ice cream. All right, so I'm just gonna hit the start button. It's super simple, and I already have it right here on the left control for auto, which means freeze and rotate the auger. And we're gonna start making high Overrun ice cream with the Bravo G200 20 quart or 5 gallon batch freezer. There we go. And depending on the viscosity you want to extract at, some people are going to extract lighter, some people are going to extract more, a little firmer. That's up to you. So now I'm going to close the door because I already have a little over 10. Then we'll put this on top. As we say in the South, the proof is in the pudding, except in this case, the proof is in the mix. 2.5 gallons is gonna give us 5 gallons of product, or 10 liters of mix for 20 liters total that we extracted. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just put this down below here, and then we're gonna open the door and look on inside there. And so this is the proof that an Italian-made batch freezer with the quality of Italian batch freezers, the parts and the assembly and just the really high quality of the soldering and the compressor and everything in between can still make you a high Overrun ice cream. So don't let people tell you that an Italian batch freezer can't make high Overrun products, because here's the proof right here with the G200, a high Overrun batch freezer for any of your American style or high Overrun premium ice cream shops. Cheers to your success in the frozen dessert industry.